Hi, this is James from Tabletop Gaming Guild, and today I'm going to show you how to play Silver Eye by Bezier Games. In this game, where you can play up to 4 players, you are going to be trying to expel the werewolves from your village, and you're going to try to have the least amount of werewolves in your village, the safest village, by the end of the game. And this is going to be part of the Silver line, so there's a lot of other versions of this Silver game, so Silver Eye, Silver Fang, that sort of thing. And they all have their own little deck of cards that can be played as is. So this is a standalone game with its own theme, or you can mix and match some of those cards. You can remove the zeros from this deck and put the zeros in from another, and vice versa. Or even use a different token. So let's go down the table here, and I'm going to show you how to play Silver Eye. All right, so this is what you're going to get with Silver Eye. You're going to get this nice deck of cards. You're going to get a little instruction manual here that's going to go through and show you what all the different cards go. You're going to have 0 through 13, but this one has a special -1 card in there. First set that I know of that has it, you'll have an instruction manual, and you'll have these little reference guides that you're going to hand out to players. You'll have this really, really cool token and the deck of Silver Eye cards. Now, just as a reference before we start, or just a note, you can always mix and match from the other silver lines, and what you're going to do for that is you'll just simply take out all of whatever number you want to mix and match with and replace it with that number. So how do we play this game? Well, to set up is very simple. Each player is going to get one of these player guides, and then we're going to deal out 5 cards to each player. Now, let's say we're playing a 2-player game. Well, we still have to remove cards equal to 4 players. So since I'm playing for 2 instead of 4, I'm going to take 5 cards out of the game. So I'll just take those 5 cards and put them out, and no one gets to see what they are. Then I'm going to put the deck in the middle of the table and flip over the first card, and I'll put the eye token near the deck somewhere. Now each player gets to look at 2 of their cards. Yeah, I can't swap them or anything, so I'm going to see this as a 5 and 8, and I'll put them back. Now you're going to randomly pick whoever goes first, or whatever way you want to do it, and the game starts. Now the game's going to go over 4 rounds, which you'll track on this little sheet here, pad of sheets here you got with the game. And each round you're going to put down your score, and the person with the lowest score at the end of the game is going to win. And if there's a tie, the player who has this, if they're the lowest player, wins, or the closest player to that person. Now, what do we do on our turns? Well, you have 3 different actions you can take. You can draw from the top of the pile, you can draw from or you can take from the discard pile, or you can call for a vote. And the only time you can ever call for a vote is if you're down to 4 cards, and 4 or less. And I'll explain how that works in a second. So if we draw a card from the top of the pile here, we can do a couple different things. I can exchange it with one of my cards in the deck here, or, so let's say this player draws a card, I can play it for its ability if it has the right icon on it. So this one doesn't. This is going to be one. This icon here says when this card is, when face up at scoring, place this card on any card to make that card a negative value, which is really, really cool and helps you lower your points. But see this little symbol in here? This means that this has to be face up to fire its ability in your tableau. However, this card right here lets you discard. And if you discard this card here, so I drew this card. I didn't pull it from the discard pile. You can't do it that way. But I drew this card. I can discard this card here. And it doesn't let me discard. It lets the ability fire when you discard. And this says view 1 card from each village. So that's pretty powerful. So I could do that. So it's one of the 2 different things. So again, I can draw a card, swap it with one of the cards I have in here, or discard the card. And if it has an ability like this that says discard any card, that's pretty cool. I'll go ahead and discard any card. And now I'm down to 4 cards instead of 5. Now, this player here with their 5 cards, let's say that we know what they are. There's one things you can do with, well, that's not going to be a good example. Let's go ahead and cheat. So let's go ahead and find an 11. So we're going to put the 6 back. Okay. And we have the 2 11s here. So we're going to use that for example. So what you can do is you can exchange, instead of draw from the top of the deck, you can exchange with a card down here. Now, if I can exchange 1, that's fine. I'll just go ahead and exchange 1. But I can exchange more than 1. If I want to change more than one, I'm going to push the ones I want to exchange forward, so everyone knows what I'm exchanging it with. Then I'm going to flip them over, and they have to match. If they match, the exchange is successful. I'll get to discard those, and I place that into my tableau. Well, let's say I knew that these two were 11, but I forgot for some reason. I pushed these two forward. They don't match. So now these will remain face up, and then I gain that card too. So now I have more cards, which is even worse. And that was a little off screen there, but now this player has 6 cards instead of 5. The last thing we can do, so we say we're in a different state of the game here, and this is where we're at with the game. So right now, this player has 3 face down cards, and this player has 2 face up cards and 1 face down. Since they have 4 or less cards, they can call for a vote. Now, if they call for a vote, that's their turn. They can't do anything else on their turn. Every other player gets 1 turn, and then we're going to go ahead and see what their scores are. Some cards with the face-up abilities might trigger, but you're going to go ahead and add up these values here. So in this case, this player has 18, 20, and this player here has 18. So this player had less. They called for the vote, so they win it, and they get 0 points. However, if this was the state, they had 9, and this player had 18, and they called for the vote. They lost that vote, and they will have to get their number plus 10. Now, there are a ton of different abilities in this game, and a lot of them have this face-up thing that happens in there, and there's a really cool card here if it's face-up, which is the 13, which face-up and scoring this card, place this on top of one card, and both cards are removed from the game. That's a really powerful card. So there's a lot of different abilities in here, like this one here, when face up at scoring. Subtract the number of cards in the deck from your score. Now this set here, this I set, is all about like different ways that you can mitigate your score at the end of the round. But either way, what will happen is at the end of the round, the person who had the lowest points, or if the person that called for the vote won, they are going to get this I here. Now, if the person that called for the vote didn't win, and the other players are tied for the lowest, then the person that is closest to the first player, or the person with the I, will get the I. Now, the I has 2 sides here. It has a open eye and as a close eye. And what this does is in the future round here, you get to flip this whenever you want on your turn. And instead of getting the top card from the discard pile, you can search through the deck for the exact card you want and draw it. And then shuffle up the deck. And then you flip this to the close-eyed side, showing that you used it. So it's a once a round ability. The other advantage to this is a tiebreaker at the end of the game here. If you're the player with the lowest score at the end of the game and you have the eye, you immediately win if there's a tie. Or in general. If there's a tie and none of the tie players have the eye, the person that's closest to that one will win. So that's how those ties are broken in Silver Eye. Now, one other thing I did want to mention too is when you're mixing and matching, you can also switch out the token here. So I could play Silver Eye with a different token. So you can do all that fun stuff. And in addition to that, there's also rules for the team play, which are pretty similar to the rules for the base game. Those aren't part of this game, but if you get Silver Fang, they give you the team play rules on here, and you can apply it to this too. So that works also. But that's going to be how you play Silver Eye. If you like what we do, please like and subscribe. It really helps us out a lot. It helps us get more content to you all and all that fun stuff. But either way, I hope you all have a great day, and thank you for watching.